This lesson focuses on unit rates. In order for us to understand unit rates, it's important for us to think about what a rate is. And a rate is simply, it's a ratio like we've been working with, but it compares quantities of different units. It means the labels are different. The two items are not measured in the same way. So for example, you see here where we're talking about a car traveling 180 miles in 3 hours. Miles measures distance while hours measures time. And then we have a turtle that crawls at 300 meters in 10 minutes. Again, distance versus time. And there's no way that we could use the same measurement for those two items. A unit rate is a special rate. It is a rate with a second term or lower term of 1. Some common unit rates are things like kilometers per hour, cost per item, earnings per week, and grams per serving. All right, let's jump in and do some practice to see how it looks to calculate a unit rate. In the first problem, we're asked about 10 bracelets for 5 friends. So we're wondering how many bracelets will one friend get. So we can set up a ratio of 10 to 5. And remember, we want to get down to 1. So all we really need to do is divide the 10 bracelets among the 5 friends. So we'll be doing 10 divided by 5, which tells us that we will have 2 bracelets per friend. Or 2 bracelets for one friend. All right, example number 2. We're traveling 240 miles in 8 hours. So we'll take 240, divide it by 8, and that's going to give us 30 miles per hour, or 30 miles per 1 hour. All right, so you can see this is really just taking the ratio, treating it like a fraction, which is a division problem. All of these things relate to one another. In number 3, we'll find out how many slices of pizza per person. So we'll take the 12 slices, divide it by 4. That tells us that we will have 3 slices per person. And then in the last example on this page, we have that we are reading 90 pages in 6 days. We want to know how many pages we're reading per day, per 1 day. So we'll do 90 divided by 6, which tells us we are reading 15 pages each day, or 15 pages per day. All right, let's talk for a moment about unit prices in terms of consuming and buying. A unit price is the price per unit, or how much one of something would cost. And we're going to do exactly what we did in these first 4 examples. We're going to take the price that we're told, divide it by the number of units that we're purchasing for that price to find out how much one item costs. So in the picture you see a sale of 3 donuts for $1.50. So and now we've taken the $1.50, divided it by 3, and we find that each donut is 50 cents, or we're paying 50 cents per donut. So let's do a little bit of practice finding unit prices. So if we pay $80 for 20 flowers, we want to know how much one flower is going to cost. We will take the price, divide it by the number of flowers, and we find out in this case that we pay $4 per flower. Per flower, not flowers, right? Because we're talking about one. Example 2, we're paying $3 for 6 sodas. So we're going to take the cost, divide it among the 6 sodas, and we find that we're paying 50 cents per soda. Number 3 says we buy 10 apples for $5. Now remember, don't pick the numbers exactly in the order that you see them. You have to think about this. We are dividing the cost by the number of apples. So we're dividing $5 by 10 apples, and we find that we're paying 50 cents per apple. All right, number 4, we are buying 3 pizzas for $16.50, so we're taking the $16.50. Remember, take the price, divide it by the number of items, and that tells us we are paying $5.50 per pizza. So to find the unit rate, we're just dividing. We're equally distributing the cost by the number among the number of items that we're buying. All right, the last one on this page, we'll take $77 to pay for 7 books. And we'll find out the cost per book by dividing 77 by 7. And that is $11 per book. All right. Last 2 problems in this video I'm going to leave for you to try. So pause the video. Try to find out in number 1 how much Susan makes in 1 week, and in number 2 how many times does an adult blink in 1 minute. Once you've done your calculation, restart the video and check your work. Alright, in the first problem, this is just like the unit rates we've been working with. We're going to take the amount that Susan makes, divide it among the 6 weeks, and we find out that she is making $18 per week. And then in the last example, an adult blinks about 450 times in 30 minutes. We want to know how many times the adult blinks in 1 minute. So we're talking about blinks per minute. So we're going to take 450 blinks and divide it by the 30 minutes. And that gives us 15 blinks per minute. Alright, as you wind up your video, make sure you've taken thorough notes and you do the WSQ to wind up your work.